Hey, good morning everyone, it's Tractor Man 44 here. If you recognize the backdrop here, you can tell I'm at my much older brother's house this morning. We're over here working on that 1937 Massey Harris Challenger. I did a first start video on that here back several months back for Splitter Wars 2.0. And I have to clarify a few things. Did a first start. It was the first time this tractor's actually been run and been used in 44 years. Been sitting in the lean-to all that time. And I didn't really clarify points in the video about what had to be gone through before we actually did that first start. It really did pop off that quick and easy once we got outside, but what I failed to tell you all is that my much older brother had actually brought this tractor into his shop, and in his spare time over the course of a previous entire year, he had completely serviced the gas tank because it was all corroded and rusted up. He's got the gas tank taken care of. He completely renovated the fuel system, rebuilt the carburetor, put a new sediment bowl on, new fuel lines, and just tons of things like that. He had already gone through and did a rudimentary cold setting on the valves, intake and exhaust valves, and all that stuff. So it was a year's worth of preparation before that few minutes of a video that we did when we pulled it with the tractor, and it literally popped off that quickly. So I thought I'd clarify that. Now he's finally got the original Magneto that came on the tractor back from the rebuilder, and it looks like a brand spanking new Magneto. So over here this morning, we're going to go ahead and adjust the valves real quick, and we're going to install that new Magneto and see if we can get it to fire up the way it's supposed to. Hopefully that clarifies a little bit. It definitely was a first start, but I didn't tell you exactly what had to be done to get it to that point. Now I feel better. So what we're going to do is just take an old bent welding rod and stick it down inside the number one cylinder. We got all the spark plugs out, wires off and everything, valve cover off, and then we're going to rotate the crankshaft until number one comes up to top dead center. When number one's at top dead center on the compression stroke, we know that both valves are going to be closed, and that's where we're going to go ahead and adjust the valves to the cold setting. And so that's where we're at right now. So we're going to go ahead and set those at 30 thousandths real quick. Then we're going to rotate on around and get the rest of them all in sequence. But you get the idea of what we're going to do. Both the intake and exhaust cold setting is 30 thousandths. So I got to crack loose the lock nut. He's got the feeler wrench under it.
Oh, let's tighten her up. Tighten her up, let me see. That's all right. That's good.
Just like setting points, you want to double check after you tighten everything down. You want to double check your clearance. Number 3 is coming up on compression next, so we'll go to cylinder number 3. He's to the front of the tractor, and he's going to rotate the crank. Whoop, back too far. Got number 1 set, we got number 4 set.
Where's number 2 at?
Number 2's on the way up. Well, we went ahead and got the valves all set. They're all set at 30 thousandths. So now we're going to go ahead and put the valve cover on, tighten up the spark plugs, and get ready to put the Magneto on.
Can't get a hold of this anything.
There we go.
Yeah.
4 nuts and 4 washers.
Yep.
The old Magneto coming back from the rebuilder looks like a brand spanking new one. We'll be setting that in here in just a few minutes as soon as he gets down with the valve cover. I'll put a link to the first start on this old tractor up top or in the end screen, where you can go back and take a look at how quick and easily it popped off. I do apologize for kind of maybe making that a little misleading, because you know you see guys all the time, they get these barn finds and they fire right up. Well, this one fired right up, but it took a year to get it to that point. This is the Magneto back from the rebuilder. Still got the original wire. We're going to be using the original wire and everything, but you can see it obviously is in very good condition. Looks like a brand spanking new one. This is the original cap that was on it, and the reason we wanted to keep it, we wanted the rebuilder to check and make sure it was a good cap, not cracked or anything like that, simply because this still has the original file marks in there for cylinders number 1 with 1 file mark, 2, 3, and 4 with the respective file marks, so that there's no mistaking, you know, where the spark plug wires go into the distributor cap. And that was by our old uncle. We always called him Uncle Chippo, that did all the mechanic work, you know, on the tractors and everything. So we wanted to keep that original pieces if it was at all possible. The rebuilder actually kind of enjoyed that idea. So right now what we got to do is we got to come up with a piece of radiator hose just the right size and the right length. We can clamp that on there because that literally drives with a radiator hose. I'm going to line that again from the bottom. Approximately 2-inch piece of 1.5-inch radiator hose. And that's going to be our drive coupling. It's going to be a little difficult to film in here, but he's mounting the coupling onto the on the drive portion of the Magneto, and we've rotated this around until we've got number 1 cylinder ready to fire. So we're going to go ahead and install it in that position, align the timing marks on the front of the engine, and go from there. It'll be a starting point anyway. Now I got to tell you, it was a fight getting this on here and getting it timed and everything. We're getting ready to pull the crank over a time or two and see what happens. We just turned the gas on a second ago. Similar to the old John Deere's, it's got the petcocks on the side of the cylinders. This has got a couple of petcocks in the intake manifold over there. He's going to kind of prime it with just a couple drops of gas right into the intake manifold. I think I heard it snort. Let's put that up there a lot closer. That's all. Well, no luck for right now. We'll get back to it. We really don't think it's going to take too much to fire off. We think we got everything correct. Everything should be right. Even though there's always questions about whenever you do something like this. But we don't think it's going to take too much to pop off. Last time, after sitting all those years, and like I said, I have to apologize for kind of misleading everyone. It did in fact set for 44 solid years, but I failed to bring out, and I'm stressing it a second time, that he spent pretty much a year, or maybe a little bit longer, a little bits at a time, putting this thing in shape, getting it ready to do that first start that we did on. So that really was the first time it had run, and this year's actually only the second time, so we're going to see what's going to happen. Hey man, what do you think?
Sounds right to me. What'd you think?
Not too bad. I'm glad to see it running. There's a totally rebuilt Magneto, remanufactured as a matter of fact. I mean, it is just spick and span. A little bit of grease and everything from our dirty fingers and everything on it. And of course, we don't have still got the original wires from 1937. Can you believe that? But he's going to get some high tension wires and replace those one of these days. But everything in this thing is just spick and span. We pulled this apart, took a look at the points. Everything is brand spanking new. And if you guys have a Magneto issue and you want an official Magneto rebuilder, not a guy that just halfway does it. This guy does it all the way. The name of this guy is Kevin McCorder at www.magneto-repair.com. He's also got a Yahoo website or Yahoo email of kevinsmags@yahoo.com. And of course his phone number is 309-303-2632. Yeah, we can testify and verify that he's a very good mechanic, done an exceptional job. And my brother said he was just an awesome guy to work with. So he actually went over and met him personally. He didn't ship it. He went over and met him personally and was very impressed with his shop and, of course, with the end product. So that having been said, we got the machine back into the shed, and that's about it. I think I'm going to run out and do just a little bit of a walkabout on that 400 propane, let y'all see that. So I know the video's been all about firing up that 1937 Massey Harris, but you got to take a look at this 1956 Farmall 400 LP. It's a 282 cubic inch.
Set to 264 to start with, and with oversized piston made it 282.
It's a good running tractor, but he had this thing apart, every nut and bolt, completely rebuilt torque amplifier and everything. He's kind of proud of it. It's a good old tractor. But anyway, y'all got to see the thing fire up. I told him this time to make sure we were in the camera range to not hit the clutch on that Challenger until he got right up here where I had a mark on the ground. So that's whenever he disengaged the clutch, and you saw it pop off again just as quickly as it did the last time. So we're really happy about it. Unfortunately, we didn't take the time to put it on film, trying to time it and everything, because that's kind of tedious and aggravating. Anyway, the job here today is completed. I'm going to go home and have lunch, and he's going to go ahead about the business of whatever it is that he does. So this Tractor Man 44 and his much older brother, and we're out of here.